firstly, I'm going to go through what actually is Ask a Scientist. I'm going to show it you, kind of show you how it all works, and then maybe look at the future and how I can see it going. So it's a website which aims to let the general public connect to scientists so they can submit an online question, science related, and then hopefully get a professional real scientist in the UK to send them an answer. I set it up about 3 years ago now, mainly because I was working here and I regularly see big school groups of kids coming in, viewing like the facilities and meeting scientists, and I personally had that. Like I can remember one school trip I did in secondary school, and that was to the local beach. So yeah, some kids are able to come to places like NPL, but I guess there's a lot of other kids like me who just never have that opportunity. So I thought that I'd kind of try and bring the scientists to them and kind of get rid of that potentially one barrier which they may have, and an extra barrier that they may have to undertaking science and stuff. So I was going to show the website. That is the website, but I'm actually going to show the website. So that is the website. It's kind of changed over the past few years. It started originally as a simple blog, just story in a big line, but now it's kind of transformed into an actual website. As you can tell, stories are categorised into like subjects like physics, chemistry, technology, etc. Kind of, it's meant to be a bit bright, meant to be more for kids and more like to try and make it a bit more engaging. Yeah, and last summer I redid the design because looking at web statistics and stuff, I found that actually more than 50% of people were actually coming to the site on their mobile phones, which is a bit insane. So if I can actually make it smaller. Okay, so yeah, it is responsive, and if you're on your phone, it looks like that. It gets bigger, it changes. Okay, so that's generally the site. And these are, that was the homepage, and these are the sorts of questions that people ask. So this is the most popular questions today. Most of the time they are pretty much the same, sadly, but what's the difference between heat and temperature, how many bones in the shark? They're all very, very high level questions, not really very specific. So it's kind of the sorts of questions that a lot of people may wonder or want to know the answer to. And we do make an effort that questions that we do get given, only really like common ones that a lot of people will actually want to know the answer to, is the ones we actually answer, to try and make more people like have use out of it. Okay. I've got the slide just in case it wasn't going to work. Okay, so obviously I can't do that outside all on my own. So I've got a lovely bunch of volunteers. This is some of them. They're all scientists and engineers from around the UK that happily give up their time to regularly write content for the site. There's obviously a few NPL people there that you probably may recognise. There's other people from like the Met Office, Manchester Uni, Surrey, all around. And I've also tried to get people with different specialisms. So there's this guy here knows a lot about space. There's some health, some biology people to try and cover all areas of what we may be asked. So, how many people visit the site? Well, last year about 95,000 people visited the site. So that's about the population of Bath. so obviously it can be bigger, but then it is also it is quite successful.
Yeah.
We've also got a Twitter account which has got about 2,000 people, and about a month or two ago I started setting up an emailing list so regular people can subscribe and get notified of new questions and keep coming back, and that's at about 400 currently. So it's only going 2 months and it's about 400. We also get a lot of international people. Like it was originally just, the idea was just for it to be UK based, for UK kids and people. But we get a lot of people from India and surprisingly New Zealand, for some reason, going to the site and visiting it. So that's quite good as well. And a lot of people, or most people, get to the site through Google, so we don't have to advertise or pay any money for that. Luckily, most of our articles are questions, so it's the sort of thing that people are actually typing into Google anyway. And we've kind of got quite a high Google ranking for some things. So how does it all work? Well, on the site there is a web form. You can just click, ask a question. There's a form which is limited to the characters you can enter, just to try and stop people asking homework questions and things. It happens, but to try and stop people and try to keep it short and sweet. And then when they submit those questions, they just get fed into an email account. They are some emails that I got yesterday and a couple of days before. Very rare and varied. Yeah.
Is that guy called Greg Traction?
Apparently so. Yeah, so I get those questions, and then once a month I basically go through all the new ones that I've received, pick out the best ones, or the ones which probably will relate to the most people, and then put those into a separate email and fire it off to my group of volunteers. And then if they fancy, if there's anything they fancy, if they've got some time, they can reply back and like with an answer. So there's no obligation for the scientists to do anything. If they see something in the list and there's nothing relevant to them, they can just ignore it and maybe try again next month. But yeah, as you can see, we get quite a few a day. Well, yeah, quite a few a day. It does depend day by day, but yeah. It's not just content on the site from people asking. It's quite difficult to get scientists to answer, especially if you're not paying them. So there's a fine line between asking and being annoying and expecting too much. So to try and keep the site fresh as well, I find videos online, like YouTube videos, other articles on other websites, and put them in as separate questions and articles as well. Just to try and, basically I try and aim to have 3 new articles a week on the site. If I wasn't getting anything from elsewhere on the web, that'd probably be about 1, if that. Okay. And last summer we put together a couple e-books. The one on the left was the first one. Basically, our Twitter account, every day we tweet out 2 random science facts, and we thought, let's just collate some of the better ones, package them together, make them as an e-book. We put them online initially to be paid for, but no one really downloaded them. So now they're free. They're available on Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, that malarkey. The first one was just general science, and then about a month later we followed it up with a specific one about health, just because we had loads of health facts. And since, it was about August, September they went up, since then they've been downloaded nearly 50,000 times.
Wow.
Mainly because they're free, I think. So, kind of moving on to the future, where I want to take the site, I think it's about time that it needs to make some money, kind of just to try and keep itself afloat more than anything. So I've looked down the funding route, the government funding route, but it is a bit difficult. They want very specific criteria, and there isn't actually much going. So reluctantly, I don't have to show it, but reluctantly about a month ago I did actually put some advertising on just to experiment. It's making a little bit of money. It's not going to give up a day job anytime soon, but it will help pay for the hosting costs and everything. So yeah, so that's where the future I kind of want to go, as well as just try and more content, build up more content, get more people on board, just try and make it a bit more vibrant, and just try and connect to as many people as possible, really. So yeah, as you can tell, it's kind of a good way to for people that may not be able to talk to a scientist anyway, to actually be able to talk to them. So if you think it's interesting, if you know someone that thinks it's interesting, if you want to take part, just want to spread the word, there's the web address, there's a Twitter account. Any questions?